A few weeks ago, I was in my studio in Paris, and the phone rang, and I heard, "Hey, JR, you won the TED Prize 2011. You have to make a wish to save the world." I was lost. I mean, I can't save the world. Nobody can. The world is fucked up. Come on. You have dictators, ruling the world. Population is growing by millions. There's no more fish in the sea. The North Pole is melting. And as the last TED Prize winner said, we're all becoming fat. Except maybe French people. So, whatever. So, I called back, and I told her, "Look, Amy, tell the TED guys I just won't show up, I can't do anything to save the world." She said, "Hey, JR, your wish is not to save the world, but to change the world." "Oh, all right." That's cool. I mean, technology, politics, business do change the world. Not always in a good way, but they do. What about art? Could art change the world? I started when I was 15 years old, and at that time, I was not thinking about changing the world. I was doing graffiti, writing my names everywhere, using the city as a canvas. I was going in the tunnels of Paris, on the rooftops, with my friends. Each street was an excursion, was an adventure. It was like leaving our mark on society, to say, I was here, on the top of a building. So when I found a cheap camera in the subway, I started documenting those adventures with my friend and give them back into photocopies, really small photos, just that size. That's how, at 17 years old, I started pasting them. And I did my first expo de rue, which means sidewalk gallery. And I framed it with colors so you would not confuse it with advertising. I mean, the city is the best gallery I could imagine. I would never have to make a book and then present it to a gallery and let them decide if my work was, nice enough to show it to people. I would confront it directly with the public, in the streets. So that's Paris. I would change, depending on the places where I would go, the title of the exhibition. That's on the Champs-Élysées. I was quite proud of that one, because I was just aiding, I was just up there on the top of the Champs-Élysées. And when the photo left, the frame was still there. November 2005. The streets are burning. A large wave of riot had broken in the toughest projects of Paris. Everyone was glued to the TV, watching disturbing, frightening images taken from the edge of the neighborhood. I mean, these kids, without control, throwing Molotov cocktail, attacking the cops and the firemen, looting everything they could in the shops. These were criminals, thugs, dangerous, destroying their own environment. And then I saw it. Could it be possible? My photo on a wall, revealed by a burning car, a pasting I've done a year earlier, an illegal one, still there. I mean, these were the faces of my friend. I know those guys. All of them are not angels, but they're not monsters either. So it was kind of weird to see those images and those eyes stare back at me through the television. So I went back there with a 28mm lens. It was the only one I had at that time, but with that lens, you have to be as close as 10 inches from the person. So you can do it only with their trust. So I took full portraits of people from Le Bosquet. They were making scary faces to play the caricature of themselves. And then I pasted huge poster everywhere in the bourgeois area of Paris with their name, age, even building number of these guys. A year later, the exhibition was displayed in front of the City Hall of Paris. And you go from a thug images who've been stolen and distorted by the media, who's now proudly taking over his own image. That's where I realized the power of paper and glue. So could art change the world? A year later, I was listening to all the noise about the Middle East conflict. I mean, at that time, trust me, they were only referring to the Israeli and Palestinian conflict. So with my friend Marco, we decided to go there and see who are the real Palestinians and who are the real Israelis. Are they so different? When we got there, we just went in the street, started talking with people everywhere, and we realized that things were a bit different from the rhetoric we heard in the media. So we decided to take portraits of Palestinians and Israelis doing the same jobs. Taxi driver, lawyer, cooks. Ask them to make a face as a sign of commitment. Not a smile that really doesn't tell about who you are and what you feel. They all accepted to be pasted next to the other. I decided to paste in 8 Israeli and Palestinian cities. And on both sides of the wall, we launched the biggest illegal art exhibition ever. We called the project Face to Face. The experts say, no way. the people will not accept. The army will shoot you. The Hamas will kidnap you. We say, okay, let's try and push as far as we can. I love the way that people will ask me, how big will be my photo? Oh, it will be as big as your house. When we did the wall, we did the Palestinian side. So we arrived with just a ladders, and we realized that they were not high enough, you know. And so a Palestinian guy said, okay, calm down, no way, I'm going to find you a solution. So he went to the Church of Nativity and bring back an old ladder that was so old that it could have seen Jesus being born. We did face-to-face with only 6 friends, 2 ladders, 2 brushes, a rented car, a camera, and 20,000 square feet of paper. We had all sorts of help from all walks of life. Okay, for example, that's Palestine. We're in Ramallah right now. We're pasting portraits, so both portraits in the streets in a crowded market. People come around us and start asking, what are you doing here? Oh, we're actually doing an art project, and we're pasting an Israeli and a Palestinian doing the same job. And those ones are actually 2 taxi drivers. And then there was always a silence. You mean you're pasting an Israeli face, doing a face right here? Yeah, that's part of the project. And then I would always leave that moment, and we would ask them, so can you tell me who is who? And most of them couldn't say. So we even pasted on Israeli military tower, and nothing happened. When you paste an image, it's just paper and glue. I mean, people can tear it, tag on it, or even pee on it. Even some are a bit high up for that, I agree, but the people in the street, they are the curator, The rain and the wind will take them off anyway. They are not meant to stay. But exactly 4 years now after, the photos, most of them are still there. Face to face demonstrated that what we thought impossible was possible. And you know what? Even easy. We didn't push the limit, we just showed that they were further than anyone thought. In the Middle East, I experienced my work in places with not much museum. So the reaction in the street were, kind of interesting. So I decided to go further in this direction and go in places where there is 0 museums. When you go around in these developing societies, women are the pillars of their community. But the men are still the ones holding the streets. So we're inspired to create a project where men will pay tribute to women by posting their photos. I call that project Women Are Heroes. When I listened to all the stories everywhere I went on the continents, I couldn't always understand the complicated circumstances of their conflict. I just observed. Sometimes there was no words, no sentence, just tears. I just took their pictures and paste them. Women Are Heroes took me around the world. most of the places I went to, I decided to go there because I've heard about it through the media. So for example, in June 2008, I was watching TV in Paris, and then I heard about this terrible thing that happened in Rio de Janeiro, in the first favela of Brazil named Providencia. 3 kids, that was 3 students, were controlled by the army because they were not carrying their papers, and the army took them. And instead of bringing them to the police station, they bring them to an enemy favela, where they got chopped into pieces. I was shocked. All Brazil was shocked. I heard that it was one of the most violent favelas because the largest drug cartel controls it. So I decided to go there. When I arrived, I didn't have any contact with any NGO. There was none in place. No association, no NGOs, nothing. No eyes witness. So we just walked around, and we met a woman. And I showed her my book, and she said, you know what? We're hungry of culture. We need culture up there. So I went up, and I started with the kids. I just took a few photos of the kids, and the next day I came with the posters, and we pasted them. The day after I came back, they were already scratched. But that's okay. I wanted them to feel that the art belongs to them. Then the next day, I held a meeting on the main square, and some women came. They were all linked to the 3 kids that got killed. There was the mother, the grandmother, the best friend. They all wanted to share the story.